Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Ryan, and with me today I've got Lee
Oh yeah.
and Derek.
How's it going?
And before we jump into the games proper, we're going to do a little check in here. Derek, you've been playing WoW Classic, the hot new release. How's that been going? What is going on with that?
Well, last night was the first time jumping back in there. After a little bit of technical difficulty getting it to maximize the settings, like
Mm-hmm.
graphically in there, because it would like crash. We got back in, finally got to start playing, and it's classic WoW, what everybody wanted to go back to that base version of the game, vanilla, if you may.
Mm-hmm.
And enjoy that. And it seems to be doing really well. Every single server is either full or on high.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't one that's like low or medium. So this game is like packed with players, and
Cool.
it's bringing in new players as well. Like I have a friend that's never played a PC game before. He saw that we were on there last night getting ready to try it out, and yeah, he got installed, set it up, and we played to about level 5 because it was late, but. It plays just like I remember it, brought back some of the feels of being in those areas without the world unchanged as much as it is in regular WoW.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that's like, you know, oh man, I wish this was different. Like this particular thing was updated, or
Yeah, like definitely quest tracking and like how well some of the add-ons worked. Because you
yeah.
kind of gotta like pick and choose, and now you've really gotta like make sure you're installing like the classic add-ons versus like the regular. It's like I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to get Deadly Boss mods, and it gave me the regular one, not the classic. So the game started yelling, it's like, hey, this ain't the right one.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to those issues of like when WoW was new,
Yeah.
trying to get
Uh,
stuff like that, but it played pretty smooth. It was definitely going through like a lot of settings like our original, so there's like stuff you're not used to seeing anymore. They did add in voice chat though, which they didn't have right away, so they kind of gave it a little love, but
oh,
kept
okay.
it in that base state as much as possible.
So there's voice chat like built into the game. You don't have to necessarily go with a external like Discord or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, like back in the days of it, we used, Ventrilo and stuff to connect and chat. Now they've got it built in there, even though like no one's using it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we've clicked into the voice channels a couple times and
Yeah.
no one's there.
Uh, I'm
But
sure they have modern text chat filters as well.
yeah, there was actually I didn't get to play around with it too much, but they did have some settings for that. Like you can keep like classic settings, or I think they also had like a bit updated versions of the settings that you can turn on for like chat and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Now, what is the barrier to entry here? Is it you pay for it and you get it? Is it free? Do you have to do a subscription?
Yeah, there's as long as you have like a WoW subscription in general, you get
Mm-hmm.
access to it.
Okay.
Um, you can make an account, you can just get that subscription, and then it'll give you um an option to switch it to WoW Classic once you have the subscription activated.
Okay. And
And it was only like
do you have to have a subscription? You can't just get this separate if you want.
yeah, no, unless you're
Okay.
going to like one of those fan servers. But from what I've been hearing, a lot of people that were like playing WoW, vanilla WoW on like fan made servers and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
are all coming back to these dedicated Blizzard ones. That's why it's so stacked and filled.
Oh, okay. Cool. Uh, yeah, that's interesting to see come back and be popular. I wonder what the legs on it will be like if in a year all those. I'm sure like the hardcores will still be on it, but like I'm sure there's a lot of like people just jumping in to revisit it and be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna go back to regular WoW or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see, like you said, in like a year's time or so, where it's at, like how far they're going to update it or bring it to, or what kind of state they're going to keep it in.
Yeah, have they said that they're going to add updates to it? Like,
Um, I'm sure they'll do little patches and stuff, but as far as how much, because I know like battlegrounds still aren't there yet because they came a little bit later on and they want to add in the classic battlegrounds for PvP.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they kind of grow this, but it would be kind of crazy if they restarted the WoW lifespan by starting at the beginning and then releasing onwards again. It could, you know,
Get it up to modern standards in like
play
15
back up to
years.
modern. Yeah, so I don't know. It'll just be interesting. It's just really cool that people that wanted to come back and experience that version of WoW that's not around then, especially like the younger generation of gamers that are on like regular WoW and have all the changes, can go back and see like what we suffered through.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like when I first started playing, I hated the game. I bought it, I played it for 2 days, and I sold it off to a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really got into it like a year later after they put in some updates to it, and it sucked away my life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what people either get super into WoW or they don't. It's pretty much how the story usually goes.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit harder for like the solo people playing through, but like if you have a group, which I always had like this random group of friends playing, and then
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten lucky to get into some of the different guilds I've been in. So I've always had like groups to run through and experience everything that it had.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Uh, yeah. Well, if you keep playing it, we'll do some more check-ins maybe.
Yeah, yeah, we'll definitely check in over time on it because, like I said, we've got like a full group from work that's going to be playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for me, I'm still working through Control. Uh, Borderlands kind of sidetracked me on finishing that up. I was really planning on having it done by now, but I ended up getting a little bit more into Borderlands than I thought I was going to. Yeah, and I kind of came to a uh, place in it where there's a lot of, let's say, Alan Wake crossover stuff.
Mm.
Um, so you could safely say that these two universes are definitely connected, and I think they announced some sort of DLC that may further uh, uh, go down that road. Um, yeah, they got two DLC packs planned for the game coming next year. They're adding a small update this year, like a photo mode and some like sounds like repeatable adventure stuff that you can do like post end of the story game. Um, and then next year there's going to be two content drops that they are going to tie into the story elements a little bit more. So definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, the game is just, as far as like the story and the setting and everything goes, it just keeps getting better. um, Basically, I got to this point where they have all of these objects of power, and they keep them all contained. And I got to the location where they keep them all contained, uh, and so basically, it's like almost like a museum where you go around and you see all of these just like random everyday objects in these glass um like prison cells. uh like um there's like a inflatable pool flamingo that's just sitting on a pedestal inside of this like completely sterile lit box behind glass. And then there was one that was this it's this refrigerator that changes formation when it's not being watched. So they have to have somebody literally watch it 24/7. Like and you come across this guy that's sitting inside of this containment cell, and this emergency has been going on. So normally there would be shifts that would come in and make sure that somebody new was watching it, but because of the issue, he's been stuck there for like 12 hours having to
Shit.
constantly stare at this refrigerator. And yeah, I encountered that, and it's this little, like, this was a side thing that wasn't even like really part of the story. But it's just all these little things that are peppered in to, keep making it this really wild world that they've created. And every bit of it is just, it's so good. Then there were a couple of Alan Wake crossover things, like literally mentioning Alan Wake specifically. It wasn't just like alluding to it. They're doing a whole lot with the lore and the story of this game. So I'm super excited to see what the conclusion is, like how they wrap it all up and what they do into the future of it, like where they go from there. I'm glad to see Remedy getting having a chance to have a game out there that's doing really well. Other than that, I think I haven't really been playing too much other than what we're going to be talking about coming up. Thank you for joining us in this very special episode of Voxel Viewpoint. If you'd like to hear or see more, please consider subscribing to us on your favorite podcast app, subscribing to us on YouTube, or visiting voxelvoice.com, where all of our great content comes together in one place. Also check out the Voxel Voice Facebook group, where you can join in on the discussion with a great, like-minded community.